Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. As you already know, my name's Ian. Um, I'm trying to get my channel going. What I do is I read the oldest I can get stories, yeah, because I know that they are when they was wrote by the police, I will say, yeah. Then these are declassified police statements. So I'm going to read you one today. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel because it's really interesting. If you get going, you'll laugh and you'll really like it, right? Because the internet now is a lying machine. Yeah, so I'm going to keep putting truth on. Yeah, this one now is called "Panic in the Streets," right? So I'll let you get into this one. Enjoy it anyway, and please subscribe to my channel. In March 1957, villagers at Wardle near Rochdale saw a sinister glowing object hovering ominously over their small community. For it emanated an eerie white light. So great was local concern about the UFO that questions were even asked in Parliament about it. Were the aliens poised for invasion? The answer came in the House of Commons when the Air Minister was questioned about the Rochdale things. Amid laughter, an Under-Secretary replied, "This object, which was described in the press as a flying saucer, did not emanate from outer space, but from a laundry in Rochdale." Sorry. It consisted of two hydrogen-filled balloons illuminated by a flashlight bulb and devised by a laundry mechanic. Sorry, excuse me. They're still doing it. Questioned by reporters, the mechanic revealed himself to be an amateur meteorologist who had created a device as an experiment in tracing air currents. The case is just one amongst many UFO flaps on New Year's Eve in 1978. For example, television viewers throughout Europe were riveted by the screening of some mysterious objects filmed over New Zealand. At the same time, a cigar-shaped craft with flaming portholes was widely reported in Europe itself. A Cheshire surgeon and his neighbour, a builder, were among the first to spot the object. It was cigar-shaped with a broad trailing vapour jet, said the surgeon. It moved in a straight line with no noise. I have always been sceptical about these things, but this defied any orthodox analysis. His neighbour confirmed the description. He saw portholes aflame with incandescence. Though some controversy still lingers about the New Zealand sightings, the cigar-shaped craft proved easier to explain. It was the burning of debris of a Soviet rocket which had launched the satellite Cosmos 1068 into space and which crashed in West Germany. Unquestionably, the most famous flap, however, occurred in the New York area in late October 1938. Before the term flying saucer had even been coined, the Times reported, "All began after 8 o'clock last night, when a dramatisation of Mr. H. G. Wells' fantasy, The War of the Worlds, came on the air over the national network of the Columbia Broadcasting System. The programme was the work of Mr. Orson Welles, a young American who is known as an innovator on the New York stage. He dramatises a book or play every Sunday night on the wireless. In Orson Welles' ingenious production, the story was presented in a contemporary American setting. A weather report was given a deadpan voice, followed by a program of dance music from fictional hotel. In the middle of a number, a news flash was delivered concerning a gas explosion on Mars. Further news bulletins and descriptions followed. A meteor had landed near I'm sorry, near Princetown, New Jersey, killing 1,500 people. No, it wasn't a meteor. It was a meteor. It was a metal cylinder. The the top unscrewed. Monsters crawled out, armed with death rays. Bullets could not stop them. Sorry, I can't help it. No, it wasn't a meteor, it was a metal cylinder, the top unscrewed. Monsters crawl out armed with death rays. Bullets could not stop them. They were marching on New York. Martial law had been declared, and the state militia were out. The Martians were coming. At least they were. As far. At least they were. Marching on New York. Martial law had been declared. The state militia were out. The Martians were coming. At least they were. They were as far as hundreds of panic-stricken listeners. I'm sorry, this is so funny. Wow, this is a good one, this. Hundreds, as far as they were, at least they were as far as hundreds of panic-stricken listeners were concerned. Telephone lines to police stations were soon jammed. People rushed into the streets, many of them with towels over their faces as gas masks. Less excitable souls telephoned the authorities, offering to help in the emergency. Even church services were interrupted. 3 times during the programme it was explained that the events were only part of a radio programme, but these announcements failed to stop the panic. Eventually, a series of reassuring pronouncements from Columbia officials, police, and news services did manage to restore peace. Columbia, however, sorry, I can imagine someone else getting sacked now. Listen to this. Columbia, however, faced heavy criticism in the ensuing days through the publicity. Did Orson Welles' career no harm. UFO flaps have generally resulted from honest mistakes and have seldom caused long-term distress. A very different kind of panic gripped the small French village of Pont Saint-Esprit in August 1951. It was as if a collective hysteria of medieval intensity had been visited amongst the community. Contemporary English language developers dealt only briefly with the story, but a full account is given in The Day of St. Anthony's Fire by John G. Fuller, Hutchinson, 1969. I have drawn on the book for much of the material below. Hundreds of the inhabitants felt the symptoms of giddiness, diarrhea, vomiting and other effects, but for many the experience was much more alarming. 5-year-old Mary Joseph Carl, for example, saw blood dripping from her bedroom ceiling. There were tigers by the wall, and they were coming to eat her. Her father found himself endlessly counting the 6 panes on his window. Day and night, flies were everywhere, and he craved red curtains for them to rest on. A young engineer could think of nothing but potatoes. A certain Delacroix saw exploding flowers and knew the secrets of the universe. It grew worse. Lying in his bedroom, M. Sauvé became a circus performer, a strongman whose pillowcases turned to iron bars, which he ripped to shreds effortlessly. Giant timbers splintered in his hands. Sorry, with an invisible audience of admirers cheered deliriously. Methinks these aliens were trying something different for once. I think they were trying to do something on maths. I don't exactly know. I don't understand it much, but never mind. His bedstead was ruined. The hallucinations were interspersed with bouts of exhausted lethargy when the unfortunate man knew who he was and lay in dread of the next convulsive fantasy. One night the awful elation came with special force. His night clothes became tight-fitting, a leotard. He strutted from his bedroom and onto the streets, reaching a temporary suspension bridge above the road where for I wish I could read faster than I interpret. I'm sorry, but it's so good at this. Well, for 15 minutes he performed a tightrope act high above the watching villagers. He was rescued, jerking and trembling on a cable by two gendarmes. Joseph Pooch thought he was an aeroplane. He leapt from a second-story window shouting, "I can fly! Don't all of you believe me? What?" He shattered both his legs, bleeding severely. I think that might be being big-headed. If you want the answer, I think you'd better ask somebody a question. He rose onto two broken legs and ran 50 metres down a boulevard before they caught him. It took 8 men and 2 doctors to get him to hospital. The hospital itself was overflowing with victims of delusion, shrieking and mourning night after night. I wonder if cancer treatment had been invented then. I go very, very obscure when I start rooting through these things, but I won't say anything, I'll just carry on. The hospital itself was overflowing with victims of delusion, shrieking and mourning night after night. One man was being chased by bandits with huge donkey ears. Another was tormented by riding red snakes in his brain. One woman spat fire from her fingers, while another thought she was a baroness and deserved better treatment than she was getting. Wow. There were only 3 straitjackets in the hospital, and though the place was ringed by police and firemen, mourning patients were constantly breaking loose and carrying their horrors back into the streets. So I'm guessing whoever was responsible condemned the sufferers to be free inside the hospital and only the hospital. Another man was tormented by riding red snakes in his brain. One woman spat fire from her fingers. Another thought she was a baroness and deserved better treatment than she was getting. I've said that already. There were only 3 straitjackets in the hospital. Right. And the cause of this appalling visitation, a batch of loaves made by a village baker, had been affected by ergot fungus, a mould which forms on certain grains, which causes psychic disturbance. LSD is an ergot alkaloid. Ergotism. Excuse my language. Ergotism had been thought a thing of the past in the Middle Ages. Whole villages had sometimes been afflicted with terrifying collective madness, which was known as St. Anthony's Fire. The episode at Pont Saint-Esprit was a freak recurrence, yes I know. of the ancient malady. 5 people died, and of the 300 or so affected by the accursed bread, there were many who never truly recovered from their ordeal. That was a funny one. That was really funny. I like reading obscure stories like that. Was see things like that now. If that was on the internet now, that wouldn't have been bread poisoning. That'd have been some man with his evil family who'd been planning for about 20 years to put one drop of this super poison or whatever it might be in a bread that spreads like oil and water, you know, before he dispenses it out. You know, that's what it will be like if it was to be put online nowadays. I mean, the internet is a seriously bad liar. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel. I've only got a few subscribers, 8 to be honest, yeah. I'm looking for 50 so I can go bananas and then start really putting some content out there, you know. Anyway, thank you for listening. Like if you like. It's entirely up to you. You're the listener. I can't make you. Thank you very much. Bye.